Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're here to talk about Bleach 1000 Year Blood War, episode 20. And this was a hell of an episode, probably the best episode of Bleach that there has ever been. There's no time for introductions. We gotta get started. Ramon, what did you think about this episode, man? You're new to Bleach, and I need you to tell me what you felt watching this episode, man. I need to know that you're a true believer, that you're ready to drink the bleach, that me and you are ready to become blood brothers. Next time we see
Don't
each
drink
other.
bleach. Don't for real drink bleach.
but what do you
Disclaimer.
think? What did you think about this episode, man?
It gave me the confidence that I can rule the world with my imagination. No, well, I mean, dude, it's like you guys seen my drawings and my paintings and random crazy stuff. Like, I think Sternritter V was like pretty cool, so I was really in love with that concept. I think this show is one of those like I did watch last seasons of the 1000 Year Blood War. As I'm watching this one, it's being added to the list of shows that someone can watch without have seen Bleach and think it's pretty badass. So yeah, absolutely, it's a really great show, good action, some really crazy like things that I couldn't think about just in the midst that were gonna happen, but really good.
Cool, man. Me personally, I never thought because Bleach got canceled so long ago, and I had read the manga. I never thought that I would see this episode in animation form. So to me, this was like a big dream, and I really loved the episode. And Ro, before we get your thoughts on it, I do want to just kind of tell people real quick if you've been enjoying listening to us, if you're listening to us on like Spotify or an Apple, I just want to let you guys know that we do have a YouTube. So if you guys want to hit subscribe on the YouTube channel, even though maybe that might not be your preferred method of listening to us, we would really appreciate it just because we want the number to get a little bit higher. So if you're coming back and listening to us on YouTube, please also feel free to just kind of like hit the follow button because that would actually help us a lot. But Ro, let's get to it. What did you think about Bleach, man?
I like the show. No, I'm kidding. No, it was cool. Like the big thing that I really like about Bleach is how creative it is. Like with all these different powers, you can. I guess in anime in general, like the good animes are the ones that are most creative with their power source, and then the ones that do the coolest things, and the one that can get the most inventive and get the most out of their power form. And this was awesome. Like it reminded me a little bit of the that one kid in Black Clover. But in this one, it's just his imagination. It's like he had the reality stone in his brain.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. And then like I like how it kind of started with the fact that he had the Stone Ritter V for Vanish. And then that little weird like turn that it made, and then just the fact that like he was like destroying the lieutenant girl, and I kind of did want to see more of her and like more of her be like badass, but I'll take what we got. I feel like we could have gotten more of this, but I also feel that it would have been hard to give us more of this and still kind of fit it within the format of the show with the short amount of time, and then not have it be repetitive. But it was awesome. I could watch Kenpachi fight anybody forever.
But I like the time frame though, because I feel like 2 episodes of the Sternritter V would have been too much, because if you're really giving the guy that much time to think, then you're the fool, and Kenpachi's no fool, so he clearly took care of that in 1 episode.
No, dude, like, I said I read the manga, so I knew this was gonna happen. But yeah, you're right, Ro. Like this whole expectation that you're thinking it's gonna be a fight with the Banishing. And not saying that guy wasn't cool, because his power was kind of cool, but he didn't look like, he would have been somebody that I think I would have been memorized. Even though I did like his third power, where he kind of made everybody erase the memory that he existed. Yeah. But then it was just kind of funny that it's like technically, I guess Gremmy must have gotten bored of him. And it's like, okay, like I'm taking you out. I've already forgotten you. And it was just so cool, man. I'm gonna try to do the least possible talking in this episode because I'm gonna get so emotional. I forgot to bring a Kleenex box to this recording, but I'm here, man. I'm here to answer any of these questions because Ro, just like you, I wanted to get more of that pink lieutenant, Kenpachi's lieutenant, because Ramon, I think I've been telling you there's a big theory with her, and that theory is that she's technically, and I don't know if this is like spoilers because I don't think it's been ever confirmed, but there's a lot of like things people that are saying like this girl is Kenpachi's true Bankai. Like, this is her. This little girl is the manifestation of Kenpachi's sword. Kenpachi's sword. So there's a lot of that people have speculated throughout the years. And I think for 100%, like if you look at all the clues, like it's true, man. Like I do think there is something to this little girl. And I think that she could be Kenpachi's like true Bankai or Sanpato, but in some kind of like manifestation that nobody's really aware of. Because there's a lot of things in this episode about her that you kind of see that are kind of like, wait, I've never seen a Sapanto that can do that, or why are these creatures here? So there's a lot of like mystery to her.
Yeah, and then like I could totally see that because you just from the flashback when he's kind of first meeting her, and the whole focus of that flashback is that she had no name, and so it's like the fact that he doesn't know like the name yet, that's kind of very relevant to that whole thing. But even from someone who doesn't, see, right? But I'm like, even for someone like me that doesn't have the whole history of Bleach, I still think like the episode did signal more to that too, because like in the beginning, like again, I don't know a whole lot about her, but it was really cool in the beginning that her like philosophy all revolved around like Kenpachi. Like she was just like, Kenny says this, Kenny says that. Like she's kind of like in the mindset attached to him, and just obviously you find out in the flashback for me that at least they known each other for a long, long time. So yeah, that'd be a cool.
Yeah. Because it's like, why would this like bloodlust ultimate warrior have this cute little girl with him at all times? And I mean, she's powerful, but it's just like so like it's kind of ridiculous. But
like the big thing that I kind of like about her too, though, is that she's like such a psychopath. Like she is like Kenpachi set these rules for her so she wouldn't go around killing everyone. Because she would go if he didn't do that, she would go around killing everyone. So like if Kenpachi met her when she was like a baby, she's gonna grow up with him kind of around and kind of his desire to fight everybody. So she's gonna obviously be influenced by that. So I don't know, but I love how she is, because also in the Aizen arc, she was alone with one of the Arankar without Kenpachi. And then, like, anytime that she's around any foe with Kenpachi, she always brings up, like, Kenpachi said that I'm not supposed to kill everyone or whatever, but since he's not here, I can do whatever I want. So, I don't know. But it's just the fact that she's, like, cute and adorable, but so that she's also, like, such a psychopath. I love that combination.
Yeah, like, the first time Ichigo ever met her, Ramon, like, Ichigo was like, wait, where did you come from? Like, who are you? Or actually, I should say, like, what are you? And that was always, like, very weird. It's so early in the episode. He calls her, like, what are you? Like, not as, like, a person, but it's just, like, he can feel that there's something just different about her. And then I think this is the first time we ever seen her sword, right? Because it's, like, she kind of, like, pulled it out of, like, a treasure chest. So that was really cool. Like, we've never seen that before. And I guess it's called the 3-step sword piece, which we kind of see why it's called that. But they also make it a point to say that, she never set the name of the sword. It never transformed into something else. So, like, the idea that these manifestation monsters came out of, like, and people could see them, that was really weird, man. Like, so again, I find this little girl so interesting, Ramon, and you can see why, because she's so associated with Kenpachi, and everybody just wants to know, like, her true origin.
But all that lines up, though, because even, like, the other, sorry, I don't know her name, but the other person that was in the room with her.
Yeah.
The healer guy?
The healer, the guy, the other lieutenant, like.
It's a girl.
I thought it was a guy.
I am 100% sure that's a girl.
It might be.
Either way, like they still, even they were still like, how did that happen without changing the form of the sword? And so, yeah, like, I don't know, like, now that you mentioned that too, like, I could totally see that being like a thing. Like, it just sounds cool. But I don't know. I liked her in the beginning because obviously with that fake Stern Ritter V, I think the exchange between them was really cool. Because again, I had to watch the beginning. Well, I already watched the episode like 3 times, but I had to watch the beginning each time, like 2 times, to really kind of get what it was going on. Because that whole exchange, even in the very, very first shot, like, she starts with a bloody nose. And that was one of those things. Like, she starts with the bloody nose and she doesn't know how she got it. So I'm like, dude, did this guy like throw in a punch before the show even started, and then the show starts? Or was that from
I think it was from the last episode.
Oh,
I think
they
had the first. Yeah, that's that exchange they had in the last episode.
Oh, that's right. See, I totally forgot about that too. But yeah, I don't know. This is a great exchange, and then to find out that he was only part of the real Stern Ritter V's imagination, that was even cooler.
Yeah. How did you like the fact that when he came in and he kind of made a mention that he had already killed those captains? He's like, that one girl's like worried about them.
Oh, dude.
And then he's like, I already killed them, and I think he did kill them. And like, I know she's still kind of rescuing their bodies as they're falling, but I think he did straight up like he must have imagined that they're dead, and I think they are dead at this point.
Yeah,
dude, it's the two that fought against the superstar, isn't it?
Yeah, the two captains.
That's crazy.
Are they really just gonna die like that?
I feel so, man. Yeah,
that would maybe prove his power though, because like, what was his name? Stand for the Visionary, right?
Like
Grammy?
He was,
Grammy, yeah, like the Visionary. Like he was just like, I don't know. I think that was like the first moment that, like you said, like it was shocking because right away, just like this, they're dead. He said it, and I just kind of walked away from that scene. So like Raul's like frustration. It's like, wait, what? Are they really going to be that easily? But then it moves so quick because then he's explaining a little bit of that, and like I really like this power from the beginning because that whole idea of just like being able to use your imagination, which can be limitless and just do so much, but clearly not everything has limits.
I think it's just the fact that, because I'm also a big fan of imagination, man, and the idea of having that power to me, like, I wish I could have that power. I could have it even for just one day. This I was explaining to my wife about why I was so emotional after I watched this episode. She doesn't watch any anime, so she's like, "Why are you crying, you grown ass man? Like, who did I marry?" But
don't do this in front of our daughter.
Oh my god. No, but it's just crazy, man, because I've always wanted to see somebody use that power in a very violent, evil way. Because the Green Lantern can kind of do these things, but he's a good guy. He's not really gonna do like in a terrible, like, I'm trying to kill you or turn your bodies into cookies. Even though that doesn't sound terrible, it truly can be terrible because I would just fall apart. But it was just so cool, like this idea of this truly evil guy having this powers, and you saw like what he did, and it's just like, oh my god, like, I don't know who wants to start the episode, like, really this discussion where Kenpachi comes in and sets the stage for this battle, but take it over, one of you.
I love the fact that when Kenpachi did come in, the guy mentioned that he turned her bones into cookies, and then he was like, "What's a cookie?" Or what are cookies? I was like, what?
He wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
funny.
No, that was pretty awesome. I do like the idea, like, again, before you start, because this is kind of, I think for me, the battle was that, or it's like the battle of like someone that I completely had no clue what they were all about, and Kenpachi, who obviously already, like, there's so much history behind him. But I think the way that he really set the tone is when he explained that it wasn't like in an illusion, it wasn't genjutsu, it wasn't like, some kind of like weird like fake thing. It was reality. Yeah. Like the second that he imagines it, it's like into fruition, unless he imagines it to go away. And I don't know, like, I think that becomes real, like all of a sudden. And it just kind of goes to like show you that right away. You're like, dude, this guy should be feared, especially after he did that to the lieutenant, because she's in shambles, can't even move because she's so like not even afraid, but she thinks, or at that point her bones are cookies. So yeah. I don't know. He starts pretty scary.
The thing that kind of reminds me of, or like a good comparison that I thought about this fight is like if Hulk is fighting like Doctor Strange, because it's like the same type of thing, because it's two completely different like
power levels.
Powers. Yeah, but like completely different power forms or whatever. But one is like so overpowered in one thing, and the other one's way overpowered in another thing. There's not really like who's the strongest. It's just like who's better at the thing that they do. That's gonna win.
Yeah, because I could totally understand why Gremmy has this high level of like, I'm the strongest. It's because, dude, you are sort of a god. Like, now you can create life, you can do all these things. You say, even if I die, these things will remain. So I also like, watching this episode multiple times. It's so crazy, the idea of this god fighting this man, and this man technically doesn't have any kind of like crazy powers. Like all you know about him is like he's strong. That's what it is. He's just strong. He's the Hulk, as Raul put it. And you throw everything. Like, this guy threw everything he could, and like he couldn't take him down. And it's just like, I would get frustrated too. Like, and I understand how he got defeated, like himself. Like, just the idea of like, what am I fighting? Is this guy like a monster? And like he accidentally turns him into a monster by having those thoughts. But it's so crazy, man. And I just love that. And I mean, I think out of everything that he did to kill Kenpachi, which one were you like most impressed by? Or I don't know, like I really like that water prison that he tried to put him in, and I think that should have worked, but clearly that didn't work neither.
Yeah, because he put him in the water prison, and then he like buried him.
Yeah.
In the water prison.
Yeah, and then he was like, "That should do it." Done. And not only that, Kenpachi came back out with the lieutenant, and he's like, "All right, go heal yourself, and let's continue." I don't know. I like the first. I know it's not really answering your question about what move I like the most of his, like against him, but I did like the first interaction between them two, because when Kenpachi goes to cut him, and he actually cuts a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, didn't I tell you, like, you can't cut me because I'm hard as steel?" He's like, "You should have just said that, bro." I cut steel, like I can cut anything. And then from there, like I think for me, that's at the stage where Kenpachi's attitude about it, that basically the man knows that he can cut anything and he doesn't believe anything else. So you have a man who thinks like he's the strongest because he can use anything in his imagination, and a man who's just like, I can cut everything. And so to me, nothing you can imagine cannot be cut by Kenpachi. So it was a cool idea of a fight.
Bro, you know what? Somebody pointed out that I don't think you or I probably caught, but he was wearing his eye patch throughout the whole fight.
I know. I did catch that, dude. But I don't know, because it's a little bit different eye patch. So I don't know if it's the same type of eye patch. Because it was just like the little one, because typically he has like the big one.
Big one, yeah.
But yeah.
Because anytime
you know what that does, Ramon?
You know what that does, Ramon?
What's in it, just to help him like not go his full power, his full potential?
Yeah, it's pretty much sucking his Reiatsu, is that what it's called? His energy?
Spiritual energy.
His spiritual energy, so that he can kind of give his opponents a chance. So like, just the idea that
so that he can have fun.
He can have fun. So it's like, dude, this guy wasn't even, because clearly we didn't see his Bankai, and this man is still wearing this eye patch. It's like, what level, like what form is he, man? Like, I don't understand it. Like, I just feels like I couldn't kill him even if you gave me 100 years to poison him, stab him. Like, I don't know, man. It's just Kenpachi to me is just gone to this really incredible level. Like, he's become possibly my favorite Bleach character from the good guys, because he's just so freaking amazing, man.
Well, that wasn't that. Yeah.
Well, like if you think about like what happened to him, like so he was fighting against the healing captain. Yeah. Like, and dying repeatedly, but she was bringing him back. So you don't really know how many times he died and got stronger because he kept dying. And then also, if you remember from their conversation, like each time that he was dying, he was undoing some of the limits that he put on himself, because he had to do that because no one was strong enough to go against him. So in order for him to enjoy the fights, he kind of like kept, I guess, lowering his levels. So like now he's like peak Kenpachi with like, he knows the name of his subtitled, even though we still haven't seen it. But I'm pretty sure that he probably still can't do a Bankai, and he's still probably the strongest captain that there is.
It sucks that we'll never get them like in a battle royale, but it's true, man. Like, this guy has to be, maybe because he's just not that smart. Well, you know what? That's the thing. Actually, I take that back. I think people make the mistake of being like, oh, this guy's like a brute force, doesn't think. But I think Kenpachi is actually, if you look at all his battles, he is very smart about how he approaches his opponents, and he tries to be like
tactical.
He's very tactical. So actually, I should say take that back. But yeah, man, like Kenpachi, man, I think he should be running the place, because clearly we see that the other captains just kind of like having tea while everything's going on.
Well, and everybody's cheering for him, and everybody, like even the freaking Remy said that too. He was just like, oh, like, don't get confident because everybody thinks you're going to save the day. And it's just, I don't know. Ichigo's not there yet, so someone has to do something about it.
But like the head captain, like, I don't know, I feel like he has something up his sleeve because it's him. He's the kind of lazy that thinks his way through things, so that he needs to put the least amount of effort into it.
How cool was it when Gremmy did all the assault weapons, man, at Kenpachi? Like, that's something that I never thought in Bleach I would get, like weapons that, like assault. Like, it's so freaking like random and cool. And you know, like I was like, when I rewatched it, I'm like, wait, why didn't the bullets hit him? It's like, oh, because he put like a blockage of concrete.
He stomped it up. He earthbended.
I think that's another part I enjoyed of the fight, is freaking Gremmy like losing it like every time, because that was right before he like realized that he really wanted to fight Kenpachi, because Kenpachi is technically like taunting him and saying like, all right, well, let's fight, and he's like, why would I need to fight you? And he's like, don't you want to fight the strongest person that you can go against? And then
I
as he's going
loved
through
that
it,
exchange.
yeah, because that kind of sets that mood more, and that's right before the moment where he takes out all those guns. It's basically that. He's like, why do I want to fight him? And then he just gets crazed, which I think that's part of what leads into it. It's his like arrogance and his like thinking that he's just like the strongest that kind of screws him over in the end, because every time that Kenpachi blocks his abilities or does anything, like right away he feels like more foolish. Like that scene too, right? He does the rock, he does all that, and then ultimately, like, doesn't he end up using his hands for one of the attacks? And Kenpachi calls him out. He's like, "You use your hands. That's a good look." But he's like mocking him because no longer is he using his imagination. He had to act out on it, and so he's basically being like, "Oh." Flinch.
Yeah, because I know he gets cut, and he's like, "Crap, I didn't time it, and I got cut, and now the second attack's gonna hit me." And then when that second attack hits him, he just doesn't understand. He doesn't understand why this man keeps cutting him, and it's just like, if it wasn't for Kenpachi, he would have kept like thinking that like, "Am I gonna die?" But Kenpachi kind of like woke him out of it, and he's like, "Thank you, thank you for that," because for a moment I felt like I was dying. So cool, man. Yeah.
No, and then he goes and duplicates himself, which was pretty cool.
Right now.
Like, yeah, you know what? And that's the funny part is like he's still making that whole statement that no, this is reality. And it's funny because I think is Genjutsu is reality, because I kept on hearing the word and I'm like, why does he keep saying Genjutsu? And it was like Genjutsu is reality and Genjutsu is like the art of illusion. Anyways, I realized that like halfway through it, and it made more sense that why he kept on saying it. I'm like, I thought it wasn't a Genjutsu, but yeah, he was saying Genjutsu, he was saying reality, and that was cool because then again, he has to like second himself, and then he's like, no, this is real. Like that's now we have double the power, and then enter the giant meteor.
The one thing that I kind of wondered when he did that, because like in My Hero there's a villain that like duplicates himself, and then like part of his issue is that at one point he does it so much that each duplicate thinks that they're the original, and they all kind of fight it out. So like I wondered, because like he's like making another one of himself, but like in the way that he does it, like what he does is real. So then the new one is like now technically original him. So I don't know. I felt that like I don't know. I just thought that like this is something that could lead to one of them trying to like destroy the others because they're the one true one guy.
I had the same thought because I was just like, wait, real quick. I was just like, oh, I thought he was gonna real quick be like, okay, die, and then he's like the new like Gremmy and surprise.
Dude, something that I liked that it was kind of took away from the action for like a second. It was you get that other Quincy that's watching the fight from a distance, and he says that like people think of people that just like are imagining things all day, like they're pathetic, they can't do anything, but nobody realizes how quiet the world is because of the fact. And that's not like the exact line, but like people don't realize how quiet the world is because these people can't do anything, because the moment they have power, he's just like, I don't even want to watch this guy do these things, because he's building up giant walls. He's like bringing down meteorites. And it's just like, yeah, dude, if people could just imagine anything, like imagine how chaotic, how like crazy this planet would be. So it's just like, yeah, you guys keep wishing that these people that do dream and think big, like don't have real powers, because the moment that does happen to somebody, like, dude, it's just like things are going to get a little bit more louder for everyone.
Yo, I would love that power, man. That's pretty cool. That's around my alley. It'd have some.
It'd be scary though, because
it's scary, dude. Because anything that you can accidentally think, it's true, man. Oh.
Intrusive thoughts, Ramon.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a way that he has to be able to control it. I mean, he never took his hands out of his pocket until that one time he like blocked it. But if you saw that, most of the time he's hands in pocket. I'm like, how is he like staying away from like thinking just random stuff, you know?
Yeah, meditation. He has to have like a limit to himself, because like even in this quick brief of me like thinking about like, oh crap, how would I not do that? Like I already turned you into a fish, Ramon. Raul, you're probably like out in space without a spacesuit. Like, so yeah, I've already imagined too many terrible things from just like thinking
I pulled a Yandu.
And the thing is, you could probably imagine the people back or imagine things to like the way they were. But the thing is, like, maybe he does have practice, right? Like we saw Gojo like at the last episode where he like got to the point when you saw how he controls two things coming at him at once and how to block this one thing and not the other. So I'm like, I guess this practice makes perfect. And so yeah, maybe he's been practicing this for a long time.
Imagine how hard it must be to like practice your thoughts. and like actively
Wow.
it's got to be exhausting to like actively monitor your thoughts and monitor and like control what you're thinking of at all times, because whatever you think of like comes reality, dude. And honestly, that's it's on in Dungeons and Dragons. There's a monster that does that. Like that's how it replicates, because it sometimes like one of its biggest fears is that it's going to duplicate and create another one that's going to kill him of
That's
that
cool.
monster, and then that's how they duplicate, because eventually they do that, and then the new one like appears and then goes and kills that one.
I mean, I was
It's a
kind of
cool
also,
monster.
yeah, like I was kind of also hyping up this Grammy because, man, like I'm telling you, man, to me, even though the episode's done and, I don't know if we'll ever get him truly again, to me, he was just kind of like the angel of death, man, like the arbiter of like our destruction, like this beautiful looking like kid. I don't know, even know, I guess a kid. I guess he could imagine any body that he wants, but he just looked like this beautiful angel that would come at you and be like, all right, I'm imagining like a new world. I'm imagining destruction. He can do anything he wants. So I was just like so hyped up for it because I'm like, man, this is truly the best Bleach is ever gonna get, man. Like I don't think, we'll see as we continue to watch, but I think this is just the best. Nothing's ever gonna top this. Nobody's ever gonna top this character. And I think this character want it or not, this character's gonna be talked about because I'm gonna definitely like already if I could have a tattoo artist next to me, I would have been like, I need that guy on this arm right now because it's just like he left that impact on me, man.
But I think you're right to have that feeling, because I know when you were talking about the episode beforehand, you were so hype about it already because you were like, oh, like just wait till you see who's coming in. Clearly, I had no clue whatsoever. I don't know if Raul did, period, that it was going to be like this guy.
I had no idea.
Yeah, but it's like I think when I watched the episode, I still felt the same way. The only thing that kind of sucks is that at the end, you're like, oh man, well, freaking Kenpachi killed him. So it's like, yes, he would have been great. Like he would have been an awesome person to see in multiple episodes against multiple people doing some crazy, crazy stuff. But I think that's why. Yeah, a mini boss. But I think that's why when we personally were texting and you asked that whole question of like, do you think that's it? I'm like, I don't know. The brain is still around.
Yeah,
right? Like the brain is still sitting there, and if he could imagine one body, like why can't he imagine like something else? And then the fact that we said that this Stern Ritter did not power up, like as he was kind of in danger, like every other Stern Ritter that we've seen in the last couple of episodes, when they're in danger of like losing the fight, they freaking go crazy with Yhwach's power, and they get into like the cross and everything, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it.
Never
he
did.
Clearly
Yeah,
was the strongest one. So I don't know, man. Maybe or maybe like I don't know. Maybe it'll be a thing that happens.
Dude, I like the part where like the meteorite's coming and he's like, all right, no matter what you do, like, you can't stop it. And then Kenpachi, that's when he says his sword's name. And dude, the animation right before he hit it, you could see a glimpse of him as a child. Like he turned himself into beautiful. Like, this is what I felt when I was first fighting maybe that one captain. Mm-hmm. And dude, I think I posted this on I know I did. I posted it on the Instagram where it's like, dude, after I watched the episode, because I watched this sitting on the floor on the carpet, while watching this episode, looking up, like I couldn't help but like either like I was just tearing up because I was just so happy. And this episode brought me back to when I was a little kid and I would watch my Saturday morning cartoons because it was on a Saturday and it was a cartoon that I was watching, and it was such an emotional impact to me because I wanted this for years, that I just don't think anything else that I ever watched is going to bring back that feeling. I think that was it, guys. I think I peaked too early, so now I don't think I'm ever gonna get this like this euphoria feeling that I got watching it. It's like it's done. Like I don't think anything else as far as like animes can ever bring that unless it's like something really incredible. And Jujutsu Kaisen might pull it off, but I know this was like again hyped up for me because I've been waiting for it for so many years. I didn't know I was gonna get it. I knew it was coming. The animation and the fight styles and everything about it. This show has been so great that I just knew they were 100% gonna do what I wanted them to do, and they did. And it's just I'm so proud of it, man. Like I truly love Bleach, and that's why I say, Ramon, like I'm like, are you a Bleach fan? Like, can I count you in?
Yeah,
like, are you part of the brotherhood?
Yeah. And I told you, it's like I'm building my own list, and then given that it's mostly from like the 1,000-Year Blood War, but it's like I have a list of episodes that, again, if I'm trying to convince anyone to even start watching the 1,000-Year Blood War, like me, without knowing a whole lot of the beginning, I have some episodes that I'm really impressed by, that kind of set not just the tone of people's like powers and crazy fights, because obviously who isn't a sucker for a crazy fight, but I think it's just the intensity of each character. Like when you saw the head captain fight, just the amount of like power generated by him, and the ability like to just even like absorb all the moisture, like, you know, things like that are just incredible.
Yeah.
And here in this episode, you know, you have a guy who just has limitless power because of his imagination, which obviously we will talk about how that screwed him over. And then someone like Kenpachi, like you say, at this point there's nothing, I guess you guys are saying he's holding himself back because we went through that journey of him and Unohana, and you know how he grew stronger. But then again, he reverts back to the, hey, I don't need all my power. So I am kind of hoping there is a second part to this fight somehow. Like, can you imagine like the brain gets a Stern Ritter power like ultimate, and then freaking Kenpachi goes like, see ya, like, let me take off my eye patch, and then I don't know, man. So see, you have me dreaming for the future of what could be. So yes, I am a fan, and it's beautiful.
I gotta ask you both this question, but if Madara was watching this fight from a distance, would he all of a sudden go up to Kenpachi and be like, I declare you the strongest Bleach character? Like, would he put that title on Kenpachi just how he did on Bushy Eyebrows, the sensei? would he declare him the strongest?
On Guy Sensei?
I think so, because I think that's what it was with my guy. It was like the whole idea that it was his perseverance and his like natural power and just his resilience that kind of like really impressed like Madara. You know, no one else with like cool, crazy abilities, like, or any kind of ninjutsu or anything that was just like fancy, like really like ever impressed him. And you know, he clearly had like a long time to really absorb everybody. But I don't know, like, yeah, it would be cool to just see that, because it's like Kenpachi's someone that now I think it's gonna be one of those characters that and again, I need to go back and just watch more of him. But even already, I'm just like, dude, this guy's crazy. And we're not even done talking about that fight, because yes, then he of course he tells his sword is like, get ready to like feast or to like, and it's like, and it's crazy because like when the meteor starts coming down and freaking I almost called him Grimace with Gremmy. when I think it's a purple behind me too. I was like, Grimace. When Grimace, no, when Gremmy is just again full of himself again, he just thinks this meteor is going to be it, kind of like, you know, like that, like just like, well, like Madara and Paid, I just when Madara brought down the meteor, I'm like, they just think that's it, because like who can freaking stop a meteor, right? and even just knowing beforehand, you're like, dude, even when Kenpachi does something and destroys this thing, that thing's gonna cause destruction. And I think they underplayed the destruction after the fact, but still, I'm glad to see that there was like rubble falling on the Saihate and stuff. But no, I mean, just see him like see Kenpachi be like not afraid whatsoever, and he's like, whatever, this is something I've never cut. And he was so excited at the possibility to cut something new. And I'm like, dude, this guy's badass.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect.
And it was cool. And then the thing at the I don't know why I'm making so many references to other things, but like when that brain pop when that brain popped off, like no lie, all I thought about was Futurama.
Oh goodness!
with those heads and bats or whatever of all the presidents. But in this case, just the.
I mean, we never got an explanation of why there's only even a brain, because again, it always seems like in Ramon, this is your chance to say the guy's name, the Quincy Lord Jesus himself.
I tried once already. I was Yahuba Haba.
Like we know he just comes to these people and grants them power. So it's like, where did he go to get this brain and grant them this imagination? Like I'm almost okay. So if the last Quincy was dying and he gave him the power of fear, I almost imagined that this guy was maybe like in a comatose stage where maybe he was just like in bed laying and all he could ever really do is scream, and then maybe he came in and like granted him power but only took his brain because his body technically maybe had been dead for a long time. I don't know, I'm just trying to give him like a cool backstory.
Maybe it was an abnormal brain.
He's what, V for visionary? Maybe he was a 5-year-old and they were like, hey kid, you want some powers? Powers of imagination. Like, come on, dude. 5-year-old with that kind of power would be crazy. Like all the toys, all the things you can combine. But no, man, but that's not even like talking about like the end of that fight. Like I love the way the fight ended, because again, here he is, like Gremmy really losing it, like hates that he just hasn't done anything to freaking Kenpachi. Like the one time he thought he killed him with the sandwich wall, like, you know, everything else. Like he was just so upset. And then the whole idea that he's just like, man, like yes, like you are so strong, you're so crazy, like I basically
you are a monster.
You are a monster. But then I don't know, like I guess we really haven't like talked about it, but the way that he ends up like really killing himself is because his body simply couldn't handle the monstrosity the Kenpachi's like power is. Because he's like, I love when he told, like he admitted it to that, because I didn't get it right in the beginning when, you know, he's getting all huge and getting up there, and then he gets to the very end and then he starts falling apart. I was a little confused in those like brief seconds, because I'm like, wait, what? Like, why?
It's almost like he needed like a 2-step process, like, right? Like not only imagine his power, like he needed to be like, I imagine having your body strength, and then the second one should have been like, I imagine your power, and then together. But just the idea of just having the power without having the body, it's just like, it destroyed him.
But dude, there's so much abstract about his power too, because it's not just that, but it's also like the power that he thought Kenpachi had.
Yeah,
that could have been it too, because he could have like said like he's a monster, so that he's like trying to become a monster, and he couldn't handle the monstrosity that he thought Kenpachi was, which could have been truer or overpowered than what it really was.
That's so true, Ro, because I think when I read the manga for years, I thought that what I remember is that Gremmy lost because he imagined Kenpachi being a monster. So he purposely or without thinking granted him like this, like you're
extra
somebody
power.
like this power of this creature that I can't kill. He's gonna beat me. I'm gonna die. This is it. So he accidentally gave him that power level, and that's what totally like got him destroyed. That's how I took it for years. But now, like, I guess there's that. Yeah, there's that extra layer now where it's like he just couldn't handle the power. So I think it is like a combination of both of those things.
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean, I think that is right. Yeah.
Dude, how crazy! Like, honestly, dude, like I would have given up too the moment he sucked him into space. Like, how do you like? He came back.
The void.
The boy, like, like I would have given up too. I would have been like, okay, well, I cannot kill this guy.
No, as I tell you, I gotta learn Japanese, or just like now that I've like watched it a few times, like just close your eyes during the part with Gremmy is like reciting what he's saying, that he's capturing him in space. It just sounds so beautiful because he's saying it with such like, I guess, frustration at the same time as like cockiness. It's like he's so cocky that he just knows again that he thinks he's gonna like just this is gonna be it, and he's like saying it, but at the same time he's like in craze, like he's just so, again, he's losing it. And then I love it because I did not expect Kenpachi to just come out like nowhere,
like nothing. He like just opened it, it comes out like peekaboo.
It's like if you forget too hard in your body, you're Johnny, especially with the big old axe.
Oh, dude, yeah. And then I think the final attack he did on him was like all the clones came in and exploded, and like they all had like a ticking bomb in their chest, like before he. Yeah, so that was also kind of cool because it's like, yeah, that also should have done it. Like this explosion from a distance looks so huge. Looks like it wasn't even like a regular explosion. Like it looked like there was more to it because of the color scheme of it. But yeah, that even couldn't do it. And it's like, oh my god. They're like, yeah, I could imagine you start off being like, I'm a god, nobody can touch me, and you just get frustrated because every second, every minute that this fight continues, and you can't imagine killing or like getting rid of this man. It's like you grow frustrated. How could you not?
So, do you think he? Like Gremmy did not take the easy way out, and I say this because again, you gotta imagine that with the power of imagination, he could have killed him, right? Like there's ways, like, and I was gonna ask you that question. It's like, what would have you done? But I think maybe that was part of it. Is like when Kenpachi like kind of basically again by taunting him and calling him out and saying, "Don't you want to fight the strongest person?" And again, there's already that competition, like competitive, like, "No, you're not. Like I'm the strongest. Like what are you talking about?" And I think it's the whole idea of like him wanting to fight Kenpachi. But I think if he really would have just like played it cool and said, "I imagine you bleeding out, or I imagine you exploding, or like anything," like. I don't know. You guys tell me. You know Kenpachi better. What have you done to beat Kenpachi?
Yeah.
Or kind of like Lucifer and Sandman in the.
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They had the.
I don't know if you ever saw that, because like that was beautiful in its own way, the way that they depicted it. But yeah, it's kind of like that you're just trying to like outthink like such a beast of a person that it just. The longer the battle went on, I feel like the harder it became for him to think of ways that he could die.
It's funny, Ramon, because I asked you that early in the beginning, and you said like I'm not really gonna answer that, and then now you're
Okay.
asking it, and like I'm not gonna answer, but not on purposely, because I do want to say that I agree with you. I think the idea that they know Kenpachi, there's a name to him. He's like they know
Yeah.
everything about these captains, so Kenpachi is probably at the very top. Because I think even when Kenpachi fought the Quincy, they're like you're one of the specials or one of the people that we probably maybe have to defeat, you know.
Yeah.
And then it's just the fact that he sets a stage. Come on, man, this man set up
Oh yeah.
like a 50 feet, 100 feet like stage. Every Quincy's looking at him from a distance. Even all the Soul Reapers are like, yeah, Kenpachi, Kenpachi. So yeah, like I think it is the fact that like the stage has been set. It's almost like a wrestling match, a boxing match.
You
Like, he
gotta
has to
do it.
defeat this man not by taking the easy way, but by proving that like, oh, dude, I can just imagine so many things. Because yeah, you're right. Like he could have just imagined like, hey, you're made out of water, you're made out of this. But it's like, no, like let me show my peers how it's done. And like,
your bros are
dude.
cookies.
Well, Kenpachi doesn't know what a cookie is, so it wouldn't have worked on him.
Yeah.
Nope.
And I would have because he knows what a cookie is.
Well, I guess so. Oh yeah, you're right. Because it's not genjutsu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no. I mean, it is awesome. I think just like what you were just mentioning. I think that's just why this fight is so significant. You do really have. It's not necessarily just like brains and brawn because it's not that simple. Like I think it is just that. It's just like I guess the limitless of your imagination, but then using them to fight because you want to at least prove yourself. And then Kenpachi, who just can cut anything, he's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Dude,
So
I always love the design for Kenpachi because when you think of this man, you think like he's like bulky or like even like you said Hulk. That's
like
the comparison I'm gonna use. But he's not, man. When you look at him without his shirt, he's just a very tall, skinny, like muscular man.
Yeah.
So it's just like I even love that design. The idea that this guy's not even like a huge, strong man. He's just like a skinny, tall, bloodthirsty warrior. Like it's so crazy to me. Like I love it. I love everything about him.
Dude, I kind of think of like the people that do like the obstacle courses and stuff like that because it's not like that they're like super like Arnold Schwarzenegger or like Batista, John Cena. They're not The Rock. They're not super swole, but they're just super fit. So that's kind of what I think of Kenpachi with his body. That he's just super fit. His muscles are probably like stone hard because they're just like so dense with muscle it just
there's a fight early on with Kenpachi, Ramon, if you ever see it, but like a captain, he's fighting another captain, and that captain stabs him multiple times. So then it's just like this again. It's also the same thing happened. Like that guy couldn't believe that this guy wasn't dying. He's like, I don't understand. Like I've stabbed you multiple times. Like, why are you not dying? And it's just like it gets frustrating. I think that's his secret. Like you want to get rid of him, and the more you fight him or the more you're thinking like I got a way of finally like bring you down, and it's frustrating when you can't do it, you can't pull it off.
Yeah, no, I mean, which is another reason why like I think the very last scene between them as like Gremmy is like kind of disintegrating, it's so important because he's basically admitting to that. He's like, you just frustrated me so much. Like that's basically what he was saying. He's like, you just frustrated me so much because like I wanted to beat you. And I said I wasn't going to beat you by using a finger, and then he's talking about his body was just, imagined. But I don't know. I really like that exchange too because again, it's still for us. I think it's still putting freaking Kenpachi in a higher pedestal. Like to me, I'm just like, well, dang, yeah, like who can beat this guy at this point? So,
dude, and the super awesome thing about this fight and like the two characters and then their powers and everything is like. You can have such a philosophical conversation about everything that this could possibly represent that it's like you could write papers about it. Like if I was some weird like grad student getting my PhD, I'd consider this being some sort of thesis or something.
It's just a weird correlation to like the lives that we live because if I ask you that question of like if you could be like a freaking shinobi like using ninjutsu and genjutsu and anything like you can, like what type of like ninja would you be? Like just to think of like in the Naruto realm and the Bleach realm and like freaking Jujutsu Kaisen, even though it's like a little different, just not the different levels, but like just the ability to I guess your abilities, like what will your abilities be? Because clearly some of these are reflections of their personalities. So like, dude, like what would you do like based off your personality? It'd be crazy.
Would you just be like powered up? Would you have some creative something like this?
That's what I'm saying. Because like, I mean, again, I come more from the creative, like at least the way that I feel like I live my life is more creative, even though, you know, my job is not necessarily, well, actually it is very creative. But again, I like to think about everything I do. I like to make not a movie, but like a show, a playlist, like everything is just kind of, you know, I'm trying to like highlight the beauty in life for myself, just for myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously people around me, but it's just, I don't know, like, I think there would be something like that. It would be something beautiful, like in the mix of like Tanjiro's, like, you know, like fake sword abilities and floral and beauty. And then like Gremmy's great because like the power of imagination just sounds so cool. Like I want it.
no, man. I mean, I love Bleach. I think one of the things that is so easily to not us talk about it, but the character design, man. Like the character design for everybody is so good, man. Like this creator Kubo, I think it's the creator of Bleach. Like he truly created a beautiful world, and that's why again I get really happy about the fact that I think even if people are hesitant to watch Bleach, just if somebody watches this fight out of context, like, well, I gotta check this out because like, how did this show get to this point, or who is this man? And then you find out like Kenpachi's not even the main character. Because again, we're here for Ichigo, but I don't know where Ichigo is. Something that I've been hitting you with, guys, is you know, at the end of the episode, there's always that last like comment hinting for the next episode. This one kind of was kind of weird because it's a little bit sexual. So like, I kind of wanted to see like what you guys thought of it, but it's like struck by thunder, you're on your knees. Like what does that even like mean? I think there maybe like there's a part, maybe there was a part two to that, but like that alone, what does that tell you?
It just depends. What do you name yours? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
just kidding.
No, but it could be on the other end too, because like a big thing about thunder is that like it scares a lot of people.
So it's struck by thunder, you're on your knees. That is my desire. So it's like, okay, like, so like these are really making me fun. Like they're really fun to me because I don't even know when we get to the episode. Like I don't even remember really what the line had to do with the episode. I guess in the last one it was like something about beauty and you're ugly. So this was it. Like I guess Gremmy, technically he's beautiful, but in reality he's ugly because there's nothing there. I don't know, but it's just it's cool to tie it back to the that end credit. Like scene.
I mean, honestly, knowing that we talk about like these little bits pieces, it's kind of nice to think about it ahead of time. But I mean, if we're being like, you know, not a little serious about it, like I'm just thinking, like I don't know, you guys may be able to tell me better. Is there someone that has any kind of like lightning ability?
Yeah.
Because that's obviously the thing.
I think
someone
she's
who
coming.
Gets the light. Yeah, someone who gets the light and like freaking using her like lightning or thunder ability, and but not just like.
Yeah, no, don't worry, bro. Don't worry. If you don't know, let's just say it's a very sexual character, definitely. And
you know, see, that's what I was about to say too. I'm like, and they probably want to like they get pleasure out of what they do.
Isn't that one girl?
I mean, that's
the cat.
That's how it sounds like they're hinting at the cat. And it's funny, Ramon, because this show has slayed like characters where it's like, I'm the fastest. No, I'm the fastest. No, I'm the fastest.
No,
but
she's the fastest.
But I think she's the fastest. It's like so funny that it's like there's already been like people saying like I'm the fastest, but I think she truly is the fastest. So I'm excited if we do get her because then we could talk about her and kind of give you a little bit of our thoughts on her.
Well, I'm excited now.
Yeah.
Raul said that very reaffirmatively. He was like, "She's the fastest." I'm like, "What? Oh, she is."
Well, she is.
I believe you.
Well, yeah. She's the one that taught some of the other captains.
That's awesome. See, that's awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, I think we did a good job, man. Again, I'm really happy of that we've been able to hold this conversation. We're just talking about Bleach. I know when we were doing Jujutsu Kaisen and Bleach kind of got the second half of the episode, even though I think that was like where we were a little bit more like less serious, a little bit able to laugh because Jujutsu Kaisen hits you really hard. So it's like it's so crazy. It's so hard to be so funny with that show where Bleach. Not that this one was funny, but some of the episodes have been funny. And, we still don't know what's happening with Jujutsu Kaisen. The only thing that we know is that it's coming back on August 31st. We don't know why there's no recap episodes yet.
That's what we thought was going to happen. And I told Carlos, I'm like, I would enjoy like still rewatching them, especially if they're like remixed together, you know, it gives you like a fresh like summary.
Summarized,
Yeah, because we could have still talked about it. So no Jujutsu Kaisen yet, but it's coming soon. Naruto's coming back soon too, so it's like shit. Like Jujutsu Kaisen and Naruto.
October, November?
Naruto, the September 5th, I think.
Yeah. Oh. Wait, this September? Like,
yeah.
The new episodes? Yeah. 5 new episodes? Yeah.
Well, I guess we're going to dedicate a whole one to that one. And I still want to talk about Psalm 100 because I know there's people that have been like asking me about that. But even
And
though
Blue
like it's
Beetle,
only
I just saw it this weekend too.
Oh, how
still
was
gotta
your Blue
watch that.
Beetle? How was Blue Beetle? Just say
I
it.
cried. As a Latino that was born there but immigrated here and lived here all my life, it hit me deep. I went with my son and he was comforting me.
Yeah. What
It's
is the rate
sad.
on?
Yeah.
Go
No,
ahead.
it's sad because I think like it's only made maybe like 30 million for the weekend, which is really low. But I'm hoping it has legs, man, because I even want to check it out.
Bro, you're a big comic book movie person. Like, where does the rate for you right now? Like, just thinking about it vaguely, like quick.
So just the superhero part of it, it's an above average superhero origin movie. The Latino the Mexican part of me is making it a lot more important to our community
Yeah.
because I think it was super relevant. It's kind of like with Namor when he popped up. Like there's a few times I was just like amazed at the fact that we had this like superhero in a like big movie like that. But
Yeah,
this whole movie is that,
it's
and his
nice.
family and all these references to like a bunch of cultural things. I just like there was times I just wanted to cry on the fact
Yeah.
that like this was on the screen, and I was watching it with my 8-year-old son
Oh.
that like doesn't understand like the full extent of the fact that he's Mexican, but like I don't know, it just
I think
it was a
I
lot.
think I think Blue Beetle has legs, man. So I think if people do check out the movie,
I think
whether
it
it's
will.
now or on
It's good acting.
streaming, I think people are gonna like it, and I think it's gonna be one of those things that the next time we see him, it's like people might get more excited about him. You know, it just kind of sucks. I think people are just not very right now with the DC universe. So I think that's also what's bringing it down. But I'm looking forward to look. If I don't go to the movie theater, I'm looking forward to renting it or seeing it later on in the future for sure.
Dude, the cool thing is that like it would be easy to make it part of the DCU because
Okay.
he talks about Superman and he talks about Batman, and they talk about Central City, but like there's no cameos, there's like no specific references to anything. They just talk about superheroes.
That's
So
awesome. Well,
it could be pretty easy
Well,
to
take us,
incorporate into it.
take
well,
us to the movies, and we'll go see it sooner.
yeah, I look
Yeah,
forward to reading your letterbox review on the Senor
yeah,
Nerd account.
I'll do it right now.
All right, guys. Well, this has been Carlos, Ramon, and Raul. Have a good night. What does your shirt say, Raul? Real quick before we leave, this is a list of people who asked for your
See you.
Peace.